Today we have Comrade Mark Adebayo, human rights activist and the National Secretary, COA Party in the studio. It's a pleasure having you in the Outsider TV studio.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
The crisis, the Benue crisis, massacre, the killings by headsmen, and other spates of killings continue to go unabated in the country. Condemnations have been coming in as far as this is concerned. What's your view about this spate of killings?
Well, thank you so much. First and foremost, I want to correct an impression. The killings are not being carried out by headsmen. The killings, the mass murders, the genocides, the pogroms in Benue State, in Adamawa State, in Taraba State, in Enugu State, in Abia State, in Ogun State, in Oyo State, Ondo State, across board, Southern Kaduna, in Adamawa, everywhere, across the country. Those crimes and criminalities are not being perpetrated by herdsmen. They are being perpetrated by organized, ethnic cleansing mechanism orchestrated by nomadic ethnic militias, aka Miyetti, whose life patron is the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, General Muhammadu Buhari. To that extent, it is a blackmail to call them herdsmen. They are criminals, they are terrorists, and the unfortunate thing is that we have a president, we have a government, we have an administration that clearly not only allows, but also encourages and equips, allegedly, these criminals. So, what we are having is not herdsmen farmers clash. Whole villages and towns and local governments are being overrun, are being marauded, are being looted, are being destroyed by these nomadic terrorists. And it's a clear case of a deliberate policy of ethnic cleansing. If we don't quickly find a way, the means to stem the tide, to destroy this onslaught, we are looking, what is staring us in the face is another Rwanda, is another Burundi. So clearly, that is that. It's not something you can just dismiss. You can just dismiss as the shameless IGP did, calling it a cumular clash. And that is because, according to the governor of Benue State, it is because the security, from the presidency down, including all the security agencies, military and paramilitary, know the perpetrators of this crime. Like they know, they are aware of the sponsors of Boko Haram, that nothing has been done about them to date. Like this government understands and knows the architecture of corruption and terrorism in this country, but has refused to do the needful to stem the tide by being gloves in hand. Everything that Buhari promised to fight is promoting. So, it's very clear. He promised to fight corruption. He is celebrating corruption. If it's not, where did his son get 5 million naira to buy a power bike? If it's not, why does he have his chief of army staff that has properties in Dubai? If he's not celebrating corruption, why should he have an internal affairs minister, a retired general, who has houses in New York? So, he's not fighting corruption. He's promoting corruption. Miyetti is a privileged terrorist organization in Nigeria. Miyetti is a privileged terrorist organization in Nigeria. Let's be very clear about that. The president protects those that he believes do his bidding. That is why the former secretary to the government of the federation accused the grass cutter, the grass shopper, who alleged to have committed multi-million naira fraud, is walking free. This was a man who stole money belonging to people that are under terrible pressure. Internally displaced people. Internally displaced persons. You didn't find any money to steal in Nigeria. You stole. I mean, that is what they have been doing from pre-independence to date. They rob the poor to enrich themselves. And that's why they die of cancer. That's why they die of all manner of terrible diseases. That's why their children are having accidents. That's why their children, they're having all manner of terrible diseases. You know, it's unfortunate that a President Buhari that came into power, unfortunately, now that we know, on the fraudulent claim of integrity, his integrity has disintegrated because Buhari is an insincere man. Very insincere. If you are sincere as a president, you will not allow your people to be slaughtered like animals. You see, these same people went to Abia State last year. They killed so many people, raped women. That has been their trademark. The president sat in Abuja. He was not sick by then. He sat in Abuja. He didn't do anything. He didn't say a word. None of his aides said anything. The police didn't do anything. The army didn't do anything. The SS did not do anything. Nobody did anything. He sat in Abuja and invited the governor of Abia State to come and meet him in Aso Rock. People are being killed in the towns and villages and bushes and farms of Abia State. The president sat in Abuja and called the governor, come. That is power, arrogance. So he went. The governor of Abia State, being a very foolish man, went in frowning his face, came out smiling. But I thank Autumn. Despite my serious criticism of him before, he went in frowning his face, he came out frowning his face, he spoke truth to power. That is what a governor should be. That's what a governor should do. You are not worthy to be a governor of any state if you cannot defend your people. It's not about federal government, it's not about the constitution, it's not about devolution of power. The constitution clearly states any other, you see, that you are the chief security officer of your state. Any other provision of the constitution is subsumed under that. You ignore whatever handicaps, constitutional, legal handicaps you have. You hold on to that. Chief security officer of your state. If I were he, I would not go to Abuja or any governor. But people are being killed by your own people. The president clearly is culpable about all these things. Now let me tell you something. Why I said BHLA is a privileged terrorist organization under the Buhari administration is that the first 1 year of Boko Haram, less than 300 lives were lost. Now, the first 3 months of Buhari, over 1,000 lives have been lost. And it's every day. It's every day. From Adamawa down to the southwest, Ogun State. That's what has been happening. There's a village, well, it's a town, that's called Igbeme, then, in Ogun State, you are not local government of Ogun State. Igbeme, Asa, Ibeku, Agbon, Oja, Odon. All those places have been trafficked as we speak here now. I've had calls to encourage people to really fight back in some villages. And where the people, and hear me very well, you Nigerians, fellow Nigerians, hear me very well, where the people have fought back against nomadic Fulani terrorism. They abandon base. They leave them in peace. Don't wait for government. First, the government should not wait for federal government. That is an application of his responsibility in Lagos State. Here, we know how many billions that the governments have been investing in security, buying vehicles, buying weapons, buying all manner of things, paying allowances to the police and other paramilitary agencies to ensure that there is security of life and property. That is because the governor is the chief security officer of Lagos State. Now, in Ekiti State, the governor, wonderful. I disagree with Fayose on many fronts. I disagree with his politics. I disagree with his irresponsible behavior. But there's one thing that he has done. That is to protect his people, to save his people, to put his life on the line. That is what a governor does. That's what a governor does. Now, he told his people clearly, these guys are marauders, they are murderers, they are programists, they are terrorists, that they are not herdsmen. Any cow you see, capture it, slaughter it. If anybody kills you, fight back. That is what a governor does. He has encouraged his people, he has emboldened his people. The federal government of Nigeria has been emboldening the nomadic terrorists. There is not one single individual today, either in custody or in court. No, out of all these nomadic terrorists, answering to their crimes. Because what do you expect?
They claim to have, arrested some who are alleged to have been the killers and perpetrators in Benue, about the 6 or 9 of them. I mean, doesn't that count for something? The fact that they've even sent the IG down to Benue. Besides, some have even said that the headsmen, the crisis, the killings, have actually predates Buhari's presidency.
What we are saying that it has exacerbated. Immediately Buhari came in. The first day he came in, but immediately he won election. Cows have invaded all sacred places, including schools. Cows are everywhere. Cows are in Maitama. Cows are in Wuse. Cows are everywhere. On the streets of Abuja, on the streets of Lagos, they are there. They will cause traffic logjam, and nobody know. I had calls that was fortunately for me. I along Pleasure. That was early last year. I saw vehicles parking, moving. Who is coming? Is it a governor or president or something? I saw they were cows. So I drove through them. You don't be afraid of them. I drove through them. So they left the road. So other cars followed me. Roads belong to human beings and vehicles, not to cows. Schools are meant for students, not for cows. And they went to the school in Edo State and drove the pupils out of class, and nobody did anything. Nobody came out to attack them. The only way to stop this thing, well, I don't know whether you're going to stick with us.
That's exactly where we're headed. What proactive steps should be taken?
No, that's
to stem the tide.
No proactive again. I mean, a lot of lives have been lost, homes have been destroyed. It will have been proactive if we prevented those ones from happening. Nothing can be done with a president like Muhammadu Buhari in power from government aspect. But the people, the people, can do something. There are a lot of things that people can do. You cannot have a president who is an asthma, and then out of 16 service chiefs and paramilitary heads, you have, out of 17, you have 16 as Fulani. Now, you have, how do you, including the IGP, you are now expecting them to do anything. They won't do anything because ab initio, they encourage them to do that. Let me give you an instance. The Miyetti said, look, Benue State, you have no right to pass that law. Okay. They told, it's very clear. And if you do, we are going to unleash mayhem. That man is, the secretary of Miyetti is in Abuja. And the governor came out and said, look, the IGP and other security apparatuses know who are the perpetrators of this crime, that we know them. He gave locations. Even before this series of attacks, the governor, as early as September last year, said, these are the things, the security report on my table suggests that there will be attacks on my people. He informed the president. In fact, the president ignored him. He informed the IGP. He was ignored. He informed so they ignored him. So the solution now is for the governor to stop crying and weeping and calling Aso Rock and calling Abuja. No. Fire did not cry. He did not weep. What did he do? He did the needful. How do you do the needful? Is the fact that out of your security force, 600 million, 400 million, 1 billion, whatever billion, arm your people. Arm your people. There is no law, there is no principle, there is no religion against self-defense. There's none you can point at anywhere. Historically, self-defense is probably the most important fundamental human rights of anybody. You understand? So self-defense cannot be a crime. If it's I keep telling people, they say you should go and apply for guns. Why should you apply? The terrorists don't apply for guns. Armed robbers don't apply for guns. Get guns and defend your communities. Don't be a coward. That is it. Don't wait for any. The government has failed in its primary responsibility as allotted to them in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. 1999 as amended. That clearly the security of life and property of the people shall be the primary responsibility of. If the government has abdicated its responsibility, look, let me give you an instance. Some of us went to school. I know people who went to school not because their parents sponsored them. When their parents abdicated their responsibility to take care of their education, they did all manner of things, all manner of menial jobs. Some people went and washed plates. Some people did conductor. Some people were doing driving, just to educate themselves. They will not go and sit down somewhere and say, well, my mom, my dad are not carrying out their responsibilities, then I will go and sit down, I will not educate myself. If that were the attitude, many of us will not be educated today. You understand me? I will not be sitting on this set, if I hadn't gotten some education. Now, I'm grateful to my mom. I lost my dad very early, but I'm grateful to my mom for sending me to school. But I'm telling you that I met people in the university who were sponsoring themselves to school. The same way, if you have a government that you voted for to protect you, that the constitution says, protect me, and he has refused to perform his own responsibility, you don't wait to die, you don't cry, you don't weep, you don't whimper. What you need to do is to find the means, aggregate the force, the courage, the equipment you need to defend yourself. There is no law anywhere that says you cannot defend yourself. Now, the police that you said went to the place, IGP that you said went to the place, fine. What did they do when they got there? The first set of people that were arrested were the vigilante groups put in place to enforce the anti-open grazing laws. They did not see any killer to arrest. So is this the kind of government, the kind of police, the kind of army, the kind of civil defense that you are saying to defend the people, that people should look? It is self-defeatist for you to be begging the person that is terrorizing your life. If Meyetiala is a terrorist organization that has been declared that is the fourth deadliest terrorist organization in sub-Saharan West Africa. Now, and the president of Nigeria is the life patron, and is the commander-in-chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, and is the one responsible for the police. And you have an internal affairs minister who is also among them. You have a chief of army staff who is also among them. And then you are now appealing to them. My son, beat your son, or I send my son to stone your son. You are now reporting that son to me to punish that son. I won't do that. If you are not careful, I'll attack you too. Because I sent my son to attack your son or your daughter in the first instance. You understand me? Now we have a serious problem on our hands. This country, it is either it is restructured or it's ruptures. And if we don't want this country to dissolve, we have to devolve power.
So, from your own view, what kind of restructuring does this country need now?
Okay, the kind that we need is that we revert to our post-independence, geopolitical architecture. Fine, we have 6 geopolitical zones now. No problem. Why don't we just allow those regions, those zones, to proceed at their own pace? That's all. Simple. Now, remove education, infrastructure, even security from the center. Let the regions take care of those. So, in the area of diplomacy, international diplomacy, maybe, we have a commonwealth of forces that we can call, maybe Nigeria Army, where each geopolitical zone donates to the center, but they will not be powerful enough to overrun one region. That is what we say when we say restructuring. Actually, when you are talking about restructuring, is that look, let's go back to what was working for us. It's nothing new. Let's go back to what was working for us. You understand? Regionalism. But we now have 6. Okay, let's leave those 6. Let them have their own parliament. Let them have their own security, their own police. Let them have their own every other thing will belong to them, except probably international diplomacy or maybe commonwealth of defense forces in case of external aggression. Nigeria remains Nigeria. I'm not advocating actually for a dismemberment of Nigeria, but that will be the last resort if we continue to witness the kind of things we are witnessing now. How can you, anybody, any group, in a state, they say we want to make this law. They say if you promulgate that law, there'll be violence, and they carried it out. And they made good their threats. We had it. But fine, AK-47, within 15 minutes, you can learn how to shoot AK-47. If it were to be, what do you call it now? Maybe double barrel gun. Maybe within 5 minutes, how to feel, how to go, and shoot and fire. Fine. If it were AK-47, within 15 minutes, you know how to engage, you know how to, all those things. Within 15 minutes, very easy to do. You understand? And you know when to put it at rapid and at whatever, you know, within 15 minutes, I know that. Very clearly. I know that. You know. But how is that? How is that? Assault rifles. Those ones require intensive training to handle. Because how is that? It can throw it for like 50 meters if you don't know how to handle it. You know. So you don't give that to one horseman. No. No, there's no horseman that can handle that without proper training. Who trained them? Where did they get the weapon? You know, who was throwing explosives, bombs into churches in Benue State? Is it? Ask me. No. I mean, there are allegations, and they seem to be very credible now, that even soldiers that were sent to protect the people were leading the assault against the people. You saw that church that Nigeria Air Force plane allegedly bombed. You said we are going to do reconnaissance to see where the attackers were coming from. But what did you do? You dump bomb. People ran into a church to hide. What did you do? You dump. The people that are fighting Nigerians is the government of Nigeria. That's it. I want you to show me what you are a journalist. Show me what evidence anywhere that this president has spoken against nomadic terrorism. Just give me one evidence. When I remember one interview that when he just became governor. The only press this thing that he did. You know, he doesn't like debate. He cannot debate. He cannot stand any commonsensical, intelligent, intellectually. He cannot. Even he ran away 2014 and 2015. He's going to run away. He's not going to debate with anybody because he cannot engage in any intellectual discourses with anybody and win. He cannot. That is not one of his strong points. Unfortunately, we have imposed that man on us. And Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu must apologize to Nigerians for imposing a monster over Nigeria. You know, these people gathered together and sold us a dummy. Integrity. Well, of course, it's a clear knowledge, it's an open knowledge that ex-president Goodluck Jonathan, two words define Goodluck Jonathan: incompetence and corruption. Simple. Incompetence and corruption. So Nigerians got fed up. So we needed a man of integrity. Not knowing that they were bringing to us an ethno-religious bigot who is going to destroy every fabric of civilization of this country. The Nigerians owe it a duty for us to vote out this man in 2019. Probably 40 months before 2019. But by whatever means. Look, you will not be sitting in your studio if Buhari comes back a second time. The street of Lagos, the street of Abeokuta, the street of Akure, the street of Ibadan will be taken over by nomadic terrorists. I am saying it unequivocally. I'm ready to defend myself anywhere. Some of us, look, the thing is that, and it's a shame on so many so-called activists that Shueton calls Abobakus, who are now keeping quiet while Nigerians are dying.
Exactly.
Because they are taking, they have a privilege of taking the crumbs off the table of Asurok. I will never be party to that kind of rubbish, including so-called senior activists. Some of them prominent, some of them are lawyers. They are keeping quiet. Ha! And people are dying. What are you going to tell Nigerians? We have some of them in an extremely ridiculous, turnaround claiming that Buhari is fighting corruption. Which corruption is he fighting? Which corruption is he fighting? His son has never worked for one day in his life. He's riding a 5 million naira bike with his friend. And they are doing, when there was no petrol, I was asking a question while I said, oh, may God make him recover. I mean, he's a human being. I'm not a terrorist. I'm not a nomad. I'm not a nomad. I said, may God heal him quickly. But I said, where did he get petrol safe? Where did he get fuel? There was no fuel anywhere in Nigeria now. Where did he get the fuel enough to be going and riding and running a race? You know. And what did the president do? He ran to see his son in the hospital. But over 1,000 people in Benue State, in Benue alone, have died. In 2016, just about 5 months, after, maybe 5 or 7 months after the president came into power, the whole of Agatu local government, about 3 or 4 local governments, completely wiped out of the map of Nigeria by these nomadic terrorists. Not one single person went to court. Not one single person. But you know what? When we went there, a company of some international organizations and, well, with little protection. The criminals are still at the scene of crime. Even as we speak now, they are still at the scene of crime. One thing I want Nigeria to remove from our psychology that they deliberately planted that in our consciousness is that housemen, farmers clash. No, this is a deliberate policy of ethnic cleansing, encouraged, sponsored by Aso Rock himself. So how do you expect? So the people must rise up to defend themselves. They must hold their governors accountable. You can't go to Abuja. You can't. Buhari does not care for any life, anybody. You will see. Look at him talking that northern forces are alone to bring him to power in 2019, allegedly. If Nigerians ever make a mistake to allow this man come back, I'm afraid of what will become of my country. And I don't want my country to be another Somalia. It's very clear. The president is not talking, he's not acting, he's not doing anything about it. Now, tell me, the same soldier that went to Port Harcourt and Enugu to gun down the head of court is there. Where are they? Where have they been? Pythons that were dancing in the southeast, where are they dead? Are the pythons dead? Let them bring other pythons if those ones are dead. What about the pythons that are dancing that came to dance in Lagos? Where are they? You abandoned hundreds of people that have been slaughtered daily. You now went after one man. You can get a battalion of soldiers to go and get down the head of a court group, whilst the man who threatened we are going to kill people, we are going to destroy houses and towns is with you there in Abuja. He was on air yesterday, on television yesterday, on Charles television. You know, he threatened. Go and listen to his interview at the BBC. They threatened that, look, Mr. Man, where in the world does someone sit down somewhere, an organization somewhere, threaten a government that if you pass that law, you will regret passing it because we are going to fight you? And they did. And we are in this country. Is it not the same president that is in power that some people are giving quick notices to fellow Nigerians that if you don't leave, we are going to do this, we are going to do that? Nobody said anything. The governor of Kaduna State did not say anything because they are all aware of all these things. I am saddened. These are the periods we remember Gani Fawayimi. These are the times. These are the periods we regret the early demise of Gani Fawayimi. Quite unfortunate. And some of the idiots who parade themselves now as activists claim to be that Gani Fawayimi was their mentor. Woe betide them. Anybody that claimed that Gani Fawayimi was his mentor and is supporting a murderous, dangerous government like this, woe betide them. Gani Fawayimi is causing them from his grave. It's true. It's true that some of them used to meet in Gani Fawayimi's house. They were even closer to him than some of us. They were closer to him. Everything. But he's dead. It's late. And so what happened? Like Jesus Christ died and Peter and other apostles scattered and went away. So these people now, and some of them they remain poor because it is poverty mentality that's making them to go and be collecting small money, and then they are destroying their own image. Some of them will not be able to attend human rights programs in the next few years because they will be stoned. They did it to one ex-commissioner in Lagos State. They are going to do it to them. What? For how much? People went to school. We went to school. You couldn't find something to do except to be dealing in the blood of Nigerians. And let me tell Nigerians, look, for every cow you meet, every cow meat you are eating the flesh of Nigerians. You are eating the flesh of Benue people. You are eating the flesh of Adama people. You are eating the flesh of Ogun State people, of Ondo State. Those cows are drinking the blood of Nigerians. They are not drinking water again. They are eating the flesh of Nigerians. Did you see that terrible picture of a 3-year-old boy whose eyes they didn't kill him, but they've killed him? I mean, more or less. They abandoned, they killed his parents, they wiped out the entire family. The boy could not run. You know, he was dropped. So they didn't kill him. They said, okay, no problem. They gouged out his eyes. And you say those are human beings. They are not. They are not. What are the defenses of the Nigerian government? They say they are Fulani from outside. Who wants to know that? They said defend us. So the Nigerian army, why don't you just remove the Nigerian army? Because their responsibility is to defend Nigerians against external aggression. So they said that it's not about their identities. You understand me? So that is why when people say, I said, look, it's not about their identities. It's about that they have committed a crime and the government is doing nothing about them. Who cares where they come from? Who cares the kind of Fulani that they are? Whether they are from Niger, or they are from Chad, or they are even from Cameroon. Who cares about that? Or they are from Sokoto. Who cares about that? The Sultan of Sokoto, Saad Abubakar, he has not said anything now. They are killing people. But when they killed two people, two Fulanis in Adamawa, he said, what happened? He threatened and they went back. The reprisal was terrible. They have been killing those people. Another thing I want you to know that this is a clear ethno-religious program. Yeah. Is that you will discover that even in the north where they are killing people, it's only Christian minorities that they are killing. Yes, that is it. Let's be sincere. When people say, after all, they carry out the attacks in the north, to know they know who they kill. They know who they kill. Miyetti Allah is a privileged terrorist organization in Nigeria because General Muhammadu Buhari, retired President Commander-in-Chief of Nigerian Armed Forces, is the life patron of Miyetti Allah. And to that extent, it is a privileged terrorist organization. This president will not lift a finger to do anything about them.